Greg. Like, okay, we're live now, Greg. Hello, everybody. I'm live tonight with a special guest, Greg Yost. He's going to be sharing his experiences with us, and I'm going to basically let him start out by giving us a brief bio on himself. He's just going to basically tell everybody who he is, how he got into his cryptid research, and we'll go from there. So, Greg, would you just tell everybody a little bit about yourself and tell us who you are, how you got into your research, and all that?
Yeah, sure, Ms. Moss. First of all, thanks for having me on the show. I really enjoy your stuff, and it's an honor to be on here talking Squatch with you. Yeah, my name is Greg Yost. A lot of people know me by the Squatchman. I've been into this since 2002, November to be exact, when a Sasquatch come down off a hill and confronted me. I didn't know anything about him then. Didn't really believe in him. I never gave him much thought. But that one night, you know how people say it changes your life and this and that. Well, I can understand where people get that because, yeah, this night back in November 2002, it changed my life. And ever since then, I've been on a personal journey to find out everything I can about these beings out in the woods. What are they? Who are they? Where are they from? How come they're so elusive? Are they mean? Are they nice? Do they like people? Do they hate people? Do they stay in one place all the time? Do they migrate? Again, back to the question, what are they? Who are they? A lot of people think they're an animal, some kind of ape. Other people think they're some kind of special being with powers, so to speak. Maybe from a different realm from what we know of. You know, maybe they're from another universe. Maybe they're from another planet. Maybe they are biblical characters. I mean, nobody can say 100% sure, you know, what they are, who they are. I mean, it's all speculation. It's all hearsay. I mean, a lot of people have their, you know, their own thoughts, their own conclusions. They got their minds made up, you know, or what they are and who they are, and they don't want to open their minds up to figure out if there's any more to what they believe. You know, it's kind of set in stone. You know, like if somebody thinks, you know, they're a descendant of Cain and Abel, like a lot of people think, you know, it's going to be hard luck to change their mind what you think they are. That's the good thing about this. Everybody can have their own opinion. Everybody can have their own theory. Everybody can have their own, you know, thoughts and judgments of who they are, what they are, and where are they from. Because as of today, you know, June 3rd, 2022, I haven't read anywhere, seen it on the news that anybody has pinpointed my questions I just asked. So until that day happens, you know, the floor is open. You know, everybody's on the same playing field. That's what you know, discourages me the most about you know, people that are into this. Yeah, you know, they want to argue my beliefs. They want to argue your beliefs. They want to argue his beliefs. No, they're not that. They're this. Yeah, again, like I said, Ms. Moss, until, you know, somebody sits down with one and has an in-depth interview with one, we will probably never know the real answers to this. I think I got a lot of good hunches, and I got a lot of good theories of what I've asked. Are they concrete? No, they're not concrete. But what I've seen and what I've witnessed over the last 20 years, more and more what I think, yeah, it seems like it's coming to a big circle because in reality, uh, I mean, I'm not putting anybody down. I've never put anybody down in my life. He does this. Again, everybody can believe what they want to believe. But my thoughts on this is, I don't think they're, descendant of a giant ape. I don't think they're an ape man. I don't think they're a half ape, a half man. What I do think, I know they're very special beings. I know they can do stuff humans cannot do. I know they are very elusive. I know they carry the strength of probably over 100 men. I mean, I have witnessed them push trees over 2.5-foot Indiana red oaks, 150-foot trees, push them over like nothing. And I always think to myself, well, how many men could do that? How many men could we line up over there on that tree with ropes and at the base of it, and just where they do, sit there on the ground and push it over? How many men would it take to do that? I can't even put a number on it. I don't think 100 men could push a tree over like the force people do. So I mean, yeah, that's one of my biggest, my biggest things with them. I'm intrigued over, the brute strength. There's nothing on this earth that is matched with their strength, and a lot of people make them out to be, to be mean, to be evil. I've never seen it that way. I have learned if you treat these, I call them the force people. I believe that they are people, that they're tribal people. They're a lot like us. They're a lot like us humans. Yeah, they got 2 legs. They got 2 arms. They got a body. They got a head. They got hands. They got feet. They look just like us, but they're just a lot bigger. Their faces are different, and they're hairy. Other than that, we could be descendants of each other somewhere over the thousands and thousands of years. Who's to know? Long distance cousins. We just don't know. But we do know that they're out there, that they're real. I have seen them many a times. I have seen a group of 12 of them before.
Oh, wow.
I have seen them with UFOs, bright lights, orbs. I see their eyes glow. I ain't talking eye shine like a lot of people think, like you shine a flashlight on a cat or a deer, their eyes will shine. These beings put their own illumination out of their eyes. I have seen red, pink, yellow, amber, green, blue, bluish white. I've seen lights that get as bright as spotlights out in the middle of the woods, and there's nobody there. Nobody out in these woods, and yet it's a big illuminating light coming from the deep forest. People ask me, well, what are these lights? Well, I would tell you what some of them are. The forest people, people travel. Yes, they are flesh and blood at times, and yes, they are energy at times. They will travel in orbs. They will travel as pure energy. Like the last time I was on your show, Ms. Moss, I was explaining to you, they like being flesh and blood a lot more than being energy, because it takes a lot less energy to stay that way. That's their natural form, a flesh and blood being. Again, this is all my beliefs. I cannot prove none of this, but I believe this is the way it's going down. Again, from an eyewitness, me and my friends and my teammates have seen this over and over. So there's a lot more to it than just a
Well,
flesh and blood creature.
let me ask you
So
a
they can
question.
also turn into energy, with a bat of an eye,
Let me ask
when
you a
they're in
question
danger, when they feel threatened, when
real
they
quick,
don't want to be
Greg.
seen. They can literally be standing right next to you.
Hmm.
I mean, right next to you, and you would not know it because they're invisible. It's happened to me. It's happened to my friends. They come right into my campsite. We smell them. A friend of mine, Bob, almost an 80-year-old man, he goes out with me a lot. Yeah, he wants to see a Bigfoot, and that's his goal before he dies. And he brought his wife there one night, Rita. She's sitting there looking all freaked out and everything, getting all hoochie coochie. And he's like, "What's going on with you?" He's like, "There's something sniffing on me." And I could hear it. No, something like a dog all over my face sniffing on me. And about that time, everybody sitting around the camp, we all smelled that real nasty odor. And I'm like, Rita, I said, "You got one sniffing on you." And everybody could feel that energy. I mean, they possess so much energy. I mean, it makes the hair on your neck stand up, or the hair on your arm stand up.
Hmm.
They come right in the camp. If they don't want you to see them, they will do that. But the best time for a flesh and blood encounter is at nighttime. Yeah, I call the forest people the night people. They love coming out at night, and you will see shadows, and you will see different forms, real big black forms out in the dark forest. Once you look in the woods long enough with your bare eyes, you become adjusted to the darkness. A lot of people say, "Well, you can't see in the dark." Yeah, you can. If you're out there, you will get adjusted. People that can't see in the dark are constantly turning on bright lights, flashlights, cell phones, cameras, all that nonsense. Yeah, I don't allow no white light at all. I don't even like red lights. The best thing to do is just go out there with nothing. I mean, I preach this since day one. I don't use gadgets, I don't use games, and I don't use guns. It's all about heart with me. It's about respect, and it's about giving the forest people ample space and time instead of trying to rush into something. Like if you see one, don't run to it. Just stand there and admire it. You've seen one for a reason. They want you to. If they want to interact with you, they will. They pick and choose people that they want to come and visit and see. If you're a mean person, if you got bad intentions, if all you want is that $1 million money shot to get you rich and famous, they ain't gonna have nothing to do with you. They won't come around. Infrared, night vision, all that different, all that fancy equipment. It may look good on the shelves and everything, but I have never seen one pick up a forest person on one of them gadgets. They know when you're using them that they don't want to be on film. If they wanted to be on film, or if they wanted people to see them, that they'd go around on a tour of the USA, walking down Main Street of every town in America. Yeah, here we are. Hey, we're real. But they don't want people to know that they're even here, that they are real. But people that put their life and their hearts into this, eventually you will break through to them. They will see that. They would see your good intentions, and you would start getting a lot of stuff. I mean, when I first started this, when one come down off that hill, I would never expect in my life. I was in the Navy 10 years. I've never talked Bigfoot before this happened. Yeah, but until that night, I knew exactly what it was. It had to be a Bigfoot.
Hmm.
What else could it have been? And then after that night, it's just been a great journey. 3 years later, almost to the date, November of '05, I seen two of them. I call that the Knobstone stare down, me and my dog. Instead of getting into a long story, I'll just tell you in short that me and my dog come across two of them on a trail, and we stared down with them for about 4 minutes. And I learned a lot that day. After that day, that's why I started calling them people, because the more I looked at their
Mm-hmm.
faces, they didn't look like a monster. They didn't look like an ape. They looked like people. There was a
Absolutely.
real old one that I seen a picture of Geronimo, the Native American Indian chief. This guy looked like him. He had weathered, wrinkles on his forehead going up. He was kind of balding up on the top of his head. He was just real weathered looking. Looked like he's been around this earth a long, long time. Like I'm talking 150 years or longer. And he was still big. Had reddish hair like, uh, but I couldn't take my eyes off their faces. And the other one, it might have been his son, it might have been his friend. I don't know who it was, but I called him King Kong. He was
Oh wow.
complete opposite of the red one. I mean, he had bowling ball shoulders, telephone poles for arms, a
Wow.
rippled stomach, a chest you'd only see on King Kong. That's why I named him very correctly, by the way he looked. And he just looked so powerful and strong that it was the most, the most show of strength and force I would probably ever see in my life. I mean, you could tell this being was just a beast when it came to anything, fighting, hunting, whatever. He was top dog, and they were just standing there. They wasn't shaking back and forth. They wasn't growling. They were looking at me. They were looking at my dog. My dog was going nuts. He wanted at them. Um, so finally, after about 3, 4 good minutes, I said, "Well, buddy, we're getting out of here." So I threw his stuff in the backpack there. We were taking a water break. And I turned around and I went back 2.5 miles into the woods. I walked
Mm-hmm.
back to my car and I figured they were going to come out and get us, but I never seen them again. And and I think about this a lot, along with all my other encounters that I've had. Yeah, I mean, there's probably not a day that goes by I don't think about this stuff. And I was wondering why it couldn't happen more. I mean, it had. That's the thing. You never know when it's going to happen, when you're going to see one. When you're going to get a good tree knock. You just can't. There's no way to pinpoint it. So the way I looked at it, the more you go out in the woods, the more you're going to see, the more that's going to happen, and eventually you're going to get to the truth. So as like yourself, you started a YouTube channel. I started one too.
Yes.
Adventures of Squatchman, Journey to the Truth. And that's what it's all about, our journey to the truth. I mean, it's been kind of stagnant lately on my YouTube channel. I'm getting ready to getting it back up. My son moved to Texas, so he left old Pops here by himself now. And I'm an idiot when it comes to stuff like that, but I got a couple people, like you, Miss Moss, that helped me with my technical stuff before, making my page and whatnot.
Yes.
There's a lot of good people out there that will lend people, a hand. The one thing I learned about this, there's not too many people out there that are gonna support you or boost you or build you up. It seems like most people, it's all about themselves. I mean, I help everybody I can. I get a lot of questions from a lot of people. I've never turned down an interview or a podcast from nobody. I don't care how small they are or how big they are. I will oblige. I would tell the people what I need to tell them. Um, and I've never badmouthed anybody, other people doing this. I don't consider myself a researcher. I'm not a researcher. I'm just doing something I love doing. People can call me whatever they want. But I'm just a man who is a simple man who is on top of this, what's going on out there, and until I breathe my last breath, and until I can't walk no more, I'm going to be out in the forest with the forest people. And like I told you in the last interview, Miss Moss, my main objective, just what I was talking about earlier about sitting down and talking to one. That's what I want to do. I want to walk down the creek with him. I want to walk through the woods with him. I want to break bread with him and his family. I want to pick his brain. I want him to pick my brain. And then I will 100% know who are they? What are they? Where are they from?
Greg, real quick, I had a question for you, real quick. Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. I have a question for you, real quick, from the chat, and I'm gonna probably take most of the questions at the end. So you guys try to save your questions, write them down if you can, because he's got a lot of information to share, and I want to make sure that Greg shares as much as he can with us tonight. But I will go ahead, official sinister, and take your question. You want Greg? Official sinister said, "Do you think cryptids are selective about who they show themselves to?"
Oh yeah, most definitely. They're selective who they show themselves to. Um, yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier about having a good heart, having respect for the forest and every creature in the forest. Um, don't go out in the forest. Don't be a litter bug. Don't go camping in the forest and leave your garbage everywhere. I mean, these people know that. They know what kind of person you're all right off the bat when you do stuff like that. Don't leave a blazing fire going when you break camp and leave. Everybody should know you put your fire out. Man. How do you think forest fires start? The forest people live out there. They don't want their forest being burned down because some human neglected to put his fire out before he left camp. It's just common sense. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you can't go to Walmart or Target and buy a good heart or buy a package you install in your brain to become a good person. I mean, you're either a good person or you're not. And the
Absolutely.
forest people are a lot like me. I can pick up on bad people just about 5 minutes of talking to them.
Me
And
too.
the forest people, they know before you even get there, they know your intentions. That's another one of their special things they can do. They prejudge you. You don't even have a clue. But it's not just what you do out in the woods. It's your life. How do you live your life? How do you treat your wife? How do you treat your children? How do you treat your pets? How do you treat homeless people? How do you treat stray animals? I mean, do you feed them when they're come to your door starving, begging for food? Believe it or not, they know all this. They know what kind of lady or man you are, but by your actions throughout your life. So tell me, any wild animal will know stuff like this, and I
Absolutely.
know stuff like this because it has happened. And I'm not getting into detail of why I know or the details that led me to believe this, but I'll give you an example. Just a couple of weeks ago, I'm sure you've seen my post on this, Miss Moss. I was out there by myself again. I go out a lot by
Okay.
myself. I
Yes.
seen a red hawk soaring through the sky. And I soak up nature. I love it. I compliment it. Everything I see the forest people do, I give them a compliment. Sometimes I clap. I'm always giving praise. I love the beautiful nature, the tranquility of the forest. Yeah, it's really where you really get your head together. And I was admiring a red hawk soaring through the sky. Just so beautiful. And then later on that day, I went to my gifting stuff. Haven't been there all day. Just wanted to look back there. And there's a red hawk tail sticking in the gifting stump. So they knew what I was thinking. They go, hey, He's going to go through the gifting stuff here after a while. Let's give him a gift. And I've heard through a lot of very influential people here in the Bigfoot community that is the highest honor a person can receive, having feathers gifted to them. And this is the first time this has ever happened to me. I've had other stuff like rocks, stuff like that gifted. I mean, I had some really cool stuff. I leave them stuff, they leave me stuff. But to have that hours after me thinking it, that just reinforces what I just told you, that they can read your thoughts. They know what kind of person you are. They can judge your heart. I mean, you can say you're a good person, you got a good heart, but you go out there and you wouldn't believe the people I take out there to try to sneak out an infrared camera, get a cell phone picture. You know, they're asking me, that's one thing. Hey, if you want to do that, hey, I'll tell them. Hey, look, hey, this lady, this guy, hey, he's going to break out a infrared phone. If you want to be on here, hey, stay out there, Vaught. Hey, get out of here. But I'm going to let her see that these things don't work. And sure enough, you know, they'll do it for a while and nothing. As soon as they turn it off, they come back.
Why do they not why do they not like
that, I mean?
though? Why do they not like the infrared cameras? Why do they not want their pictures taken?
It's just who they are and what they are. If that was the case, everybody would have great pictures of them. And this is another thing, that they can feel that vibration, that frequency. You know, everything that's not natural flowing through that forest, so they can feel it. They can smell gunpowder. Anything that ain't natural out there, they're going to pick it up, and they're going to know what you're going to do as soon as you get out of your car, if not sooner. Okay. And why they don't want their picture taken, I don't know. It's my guess is they don't want their picture taken. I mean, you've seen some of the ones I got. I got Curious George. In my opinion, that's probably one of the best pictures I've ever seen. Not because I took it, because it is what it is. I got that picture of that dog man.
Oh my God!
I didn't even see that dog man. I've been told by hundreds of people that that's one of the best pictures out there.
It is.
You know, Jody Cook and Nick Valentine. You know them guys. They love it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking
about. Nick and Jody. Yeah, they told me they broke that picture down, photoshopped it, dissected it, everything they could to try to see if it was a fake or see if it was some kind of hoax. And yeah, both of them will tell you it's 100% real. And you can even see the wetness on this thing's nose. You can see his ears look like the Anubis ears. You can see yellow glowing eyes. You know, this was in daytime. This was New Year's Day, 2020. I was taking a picture of an arch.
Okay.
And if people, I know how a lot of people always badmouth the dog man, say he's, he ain't nothing but a killer. He's evil. He's this, he's that. Well, I hate to break a lot of hearts, Miss Moss, but I beg to differ. They're just another type of force people. And I got a lot of people that are on my side on this. I mean, if that guy up there wanted me and my buddy the general, was with me that day, he could have come out there and ripped us apart and had us like a spaghetti dinner. But yet he stood up there. We didn't even know he was there. That close to us, 50 feet away. He didn't growl. He didn't move. He's just sitting there, just watching us. So my question is to all these people that think they're all evil, bloodthirsty, and they take every chance they can to chop their bits into a human. Well, they sure didn't do it that day. And if he's out there that day, he's out there the other day. And if he's out there every day, I'm out there. That's where he lives. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I've never been threatened by what some call Bigfoot. I don't like calling them Bigfoot. I call them the forest people. But I will say the dog man and the Bigfoot are one of the same. That they're all people of the forest. And until somebody can definitely prove to me that either one of them are big bloodthirsty beasts, I'm going to continue to believe what I believe, and I do not feel frightened by either one of these beings. Like I say, I go out by myself, no weapons, no guns, just me. Um, and that tells them a lot right there. It tells them I'm not afraid of them. I don't take care of no cameras or nothing. Just me, my brain, and my heart. Like I tell everybody, well, don't you bring equipment with you? I go, yeah, I got equipment. I go, here's my audio. I go, here's my smell. Here's my video. And here's
Absolutely.
my computer modular. Yeah, that processes everything I see, smell, and hear. And that's the best equipment a person could use. And I highly recommend it. If you're one who hasn't done this way, try it. When you go out there, talk to the forest. Talk to the people. That's what I started doing. You know how many people I got who are doing this now with great success? Quick
Absolutely.
story. Great friends of mine up in the IBRO, Indiana Bigfoot Research Organization. A group up by Bloomington, up by Monroe Forest, a very squatchy place. I did a camp, speech. They always have a buffet. Everybody brings something to eat on Saturday. And they have people speak after, so he wanted me to speak. So I told people, go out, talk to them. Ask them to shine their eyes for you. Ask them to do a tree knock. Leave your equipment here. This is what works. I know. I have found this out through countless hours of pounding through the forest. I used to be like that. I used to have all that, but it never worked. I wasn't getting no success. So I quit doing all that. And I become friends with other people that tell me. Like a great friend of mine, Miss Arla Colette Williams. She showed me a lot. Mr. Parker Duvall, he showed me a lot. And it's hard to soak in at first what these people are teaching you and learning you until it happens to you. And then you're like, wow, that's just like what Arla said, or that's just like what Parker said. That's how it went. And then it's hard to accept that what you believed in, you was wrong. That they're not a flesh and blood ape walking out there, what I thought they was, that they're totally something different. So I was intelligent enough and opened up my mind and looked at things with a different point of view to come up with other conclusions, other theories based on strictly my experiences and what I have seen and heard.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm sticking to.
Hold on, Greg. Somebody was telling me there's a problem in your group. Hold on just a second. Let me just give me a second real quick. Somebody was doing something over there in
Yeah, go
your
ahead.
group. Let me reach out to the group chat, our group chat that I created for you. Let me reach out to them real quick and let them know to shut that down. Hold on. Well, Greg, while I'm doing that, I have a question for you real quick. When you're talking about the forest people, I know that you go out and you do gifting to them a lot. Basically, with your gifting, do you not feel afraid when you go out and you're gifting, or you're gifting them, you're feeding them and stuff like that? Have they ever come at you aggressively at any time?
Oh, okay. First of all, to answer your question, yeah, gifting, gifting and feeding, that's two different things. I mean, I feed my cats twice a day. I gift to forest people about once or twice a month. It's equivalent to giving them a appreciation gift. And what I've learned through gifting is it builds trust. It builds a relationship. It builds a mutual respect for one another, that you're not trying to hurt or poison the forest people. I heard some people wanting to put poison in their food so they'd get a dead body. I mean, I just can't believe some of the stuff I hear. But anyway, it's just to show appreciation for what they do for me, and they come up and they take them. And like I said, Ms. Moss, it wasn't something that happened overnight. I mean, you don't know how long it took. Finally, they started taking my stuff. I mean, I used to go, I go down this one creek all the time. I get so much action down this creek, man, right in the middle through the forest. And I lay out apples, I lay out bananas. I'd come back
Yes.
a week later, they'd be up there on a tree branch over the creek, whatever, just rotting away. I was like, they're not taking nothing. So I kept doing it and doing it. So I'm like, well, maybe maybe I'm not putting enough into it. So then I started talking. When I did it, I'm like, hey, y'all, I got a banana for you. I'm gonna lay it right here. I go, it's nice and safe. There's nothing wrong with it. Sometimes maybe a whole, whatever you call it, a rack of bananas, 5 or 6 of them, and I lay them there, and it started getting better. I started hitting donuts. Yeah, I seen where this one guy was spitting donuts out. He said they like glazed donuts. So I started trying them. And it got to the point where on our way back, me and my son, I always took my son out, the donuts would be gone. And we started hearing laughter. We started hearing language. Even though it wasn't English language, you could hear some people talking. Not one person, 2 or 3 people. Kind of like like human language, but you couldn't understand it. Like
Yes.
gibberish. And we started working really well. And then when I go camping out up at the state forest, I made a gifting stump back there behind the camp, 100 feet behind the camp, and I started up in the game, putting chicken, baked chicken out there, rotisserie chicken, better pastries, berries, bananas, fruits, apples, whatever, peaches, whatever was good. And then I started putting granola, like breakfast bars, in the little wrappers. And I noticed when I was going back there, it sounded like a human. You know how we rip them there at the top, where they seal them at, where they were running their fingernails down through the middle of the granola bars and taking them out that way. So the 2 ends were perfect. So
Right.
I'm like, oh man, they're really liking everything now. So then this is where we camp out, 100 feet back there. We sit there at the campfire. We watch back there. You can see eye glow. You can see figures moving around. A lot of action all over this gifting stump. I told them way back before that I would take people back to the gifting stump, and we would go no further. The forest is yours. We'll stay right here. Whatever you want to happen, hey, let's see it right here, or we'll be up at camp. Hey, the choice is yours. You can't tell the forest people what to do. You can just ask them. And that's another thing I learned. I started asking them to do stuff. Like I was telling you, to light their eyes up, to do tree knocks, to do vocals. It works a lot of times. It don't work all the time, but it works a lot of times. And I've never heard of nobody asking them to do stuff. But yet I did, and I get great results. You can ask the hundreds of people that have come here. Most of them have witnessed seeing one. Not to mention everything else that comes with it. The pushed over trees, the eye glow out there. It looked like a Christmas tree some nights. There's so many eye lights and eye glowing going on. I mean, I'm talking 15, 20 of them out there. at least, if not more. And so this is all because of the same spot, the gifting spot. Yeah, we got a mutual respect for each other. I don't go past that. So one night I had a group of ghost hunters to come up here. I'm real good friends with Ernie and Denise Pac-Man Paranormal. They're really great ghost hunters, and we were running equipment, man, to detect energy and everything because the forest people are full of energy. So that they brought a bunch of people here after what happened. Before I tell you this, people need to know this. I just said how I asked them to do stuff. Well, Ernie and Denise and their daughter was here Memorial Day weekend 2 years ago. And I was leaving to Washington in a week and a half. I was moving out there. It didn't work out. I came back, but I was moving.
Mm-hmm.
So like I always do, I put my arms up. I open my hands. I raise my arms up and almost pray to them. I go, hey, look, this may be the last time I'm going to be here. I'm getting old in age. I'm moving to Washington, thousands of miles away. I love you people, and I'm really going to miss you people. But before I go, can you give me something to remember? Something big, something loud. I want you to turn this forest. I want you to just turn it upside down for me, please. I beg of you. And again, I got 4 witnesses that seen this. 30 seconds after I asked this, 8 trees went crashing down all around us.
Oh, wow.
And it sounded like a war zone going off. I don't know if you ever heard of a live tree getting broken in half by being pushed over, 8 of them.
Yes.
So everything got real quiet. So Denise walked up the road a little bit. We're right there on a pull out. There wasn't nothing there, no campground, nothing, just in my forest where everything happens, in my hot spot. She said, hey, look, guys, there's a tree pushed over right here. So it was going up like this over the road. And they pushed it up out of the ground. There was a big root ball over there. Another big 2.5 foot Indiana red oak. And they pushed it out of the ground, and it was laying up in another branch on another tree on the other side of the road.
Wow.
So we're like, oh my gosh, man, this is crazy. And we go back up to your cars. I even stepped it off. It's 50 steps away to where the cars were at, where this tree got pushed over. We were all around us. So it's just what I asked for. I said I wanted it loud, I wanted it big, but I wasn't expecting this, Miss Malls. So all of a sudden, we're just standing there, and that tree that the big one was laying in, another big tree, started violently shaking. I don't know if you've seen videos before of them pushing a tree, but here's another 2.5, 3 foot tree, 150 foot tall, just violently being just shooken. So I look up and I'm like, look, everybody, look. And there's a big black blob of mass. You can see him about 20 feet up in that tree, shaking the hell out of this tree. And finally, it exploded. I didn't give it justice. It was loud as hell. It sounded like a bomb went off over there. So we seen this big black blob jump down and hit the ground. We heard the thump, and then run off into the woods. So instead of running from it, this is what we want. This is what we live for. Most people probably, like, get the hell out of here. We walked over there where it just happened. Again, no guns, nothing. I don't fear the people, and I teach other people don't fear them. That's your best way to do it. Trust me. So we walk up there, and what happened is that tree that was like that I just told you about was laying flat on the road, and the tree it was laying in, he broke it 20 feet up. It went over that was holding that tree. So in essence, he came back to finish the job, and he took 2 trees down to get the other one down. So, I mean, if that ain't an incredible story, I don't know what is. And that just ain't me sitting there telling you about it. I got 4 people that was standing right there to seen it too. And this
Absolutely.
leads me to the story that I was originally telling you, that when he had all these ghost people up here, they were from Florida, Ohio, Tennessee, um, Kentucky, and Indiana. We had people from 5 states here. And there's 2 women here, Sheila and Sheila. They were probably in their
Y'all, his pictures can be seen in his group Squatchman Adventures Journey to the Truth. And I think Greg also has some of his pictures also on his personal page, but I'm not really sure. What I'll have Greg do is after the show, I did have his picture at one point, and I think he's got it on his page, and I'm a friend of Greg on his page, but they may even be in his group also. But if not, then I will have him to share them in our group after, or I'll screenshot it and send it over.
yeah.
Sorry about that, Greg. They were asking a
Oh,
lot of questions about your pictures.
hey, no
And yeah,
problem.
Greg's got some amazing
I love
pictures.
people's interest, man, and I answer every question as honest as I can
And
and forthcoming. I
and
don't
Greg, real quick, I'm gonna let you know this. I had to remove somebody from your group a few minutes ago. They were over there cussing people out, and I had to deal with that. And one of the members of the group had messaged me here on Messenger while we're live, and they were letting me know that there was somebody over there bullying people, cussing them out. And they screenshotted the messages to me, and it was just out of control. So I removed that person from the group while you were talking.
hey, some people, they're just like that. All I can do is pray for them.
Well, you get it, and
Hopefully one day that they'll see the light.
it's
But
in
I don't
every
have
group.
time. I don't have time for the negative energy. Yeah, if
Absolutely.
he wanted to come on and say that stuff, he ought to be watching pro wrestling on TV. That sounds something more speed.
Absolutely. Well, he was saying that somebody had he had said that what if they're not a flesh and blood creature? I suppose you don't believe in that concept either. And he basically another person had told him maybe you should actually spend some time in the forest. And he basically called him a smartass and was going off on him. So like we don't have time for that. And when it comes down to it, like y'all, everybody has a right to their opinions when it comes to these creatures. When it comes to that, I mean, everybody has a right to their opinion. Everybody has a difference in opinion, like I always say on every show. And some people will call certain aspects of beliefs the woo. I don't know why they call it that. I think that's stupid, but they call it the woo, and that comes with, I guess, some of the people who believe that they can mind speak or that they can heal people and all that kind of stuff. And to me, I feel like that they are spiritual creatures. I feel like that they're somewhat. I think they're flesh and blood, and I feel like they're spiritual, supernatural also at the same time because they do procreate, they do have kids, they do eat, they do everything a regular normal animal would do, but then they've also got supernatural powers. So they're just something completely entirely different. Greg, one time you had told me as far as these creatures are concerned, you explain to everybody your beliefs on that ball of energy that you say that they can go into so they can understand that?
Uh, uh, what? Explain what? What was that?
You talked to me about how they can go into a ball of energy form like a ball of energy.
Oh yes. Yeah, like I said, this ain't for everybody. But if you have an experience, like apparently that other guy that was bad mouthing, he probably never experienced this. He probably never seen anything, but he's quick to make judgment. But well, what these beings can do, they can transform from flesh and blood into energy.
Mm-hmm.
At nighttime, sometimes you can see this energy balls. I mean, they move through the forest. Sometimes they're bright, sometimes they're dim. Sometimes they're big, sometimes they're small.
Mm-hmm.
But trust me, they can do this.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen this firsthand. I've seen one walking at night. It was night, but I was right behind him. I was probably too close, and I had 2 people with me. And he kind of went from a big black figure, and the next thing we seen was a big energy ball about the size of a basketball,
Mm-hmm.
right where he was at. It was about 10 feet high, just drifting through the forest. Coincidental or me and my two buddies losing our minds, but we know what we've seen.
Right.
And you could even hear him walking and everything, and the walking went away, everything. So, I mean, when you're that close behind one, and he doesn't do this to get away or whatever, we would have kept hearing him and seeing him, but just like that, he vanished. And that is not the first time that's happened.
Do you think that there's a difference, Greg, in the way that there's a difference in how they react towards women versus men?
Oh, yeah, it's a very good possibility. Just like children, a lot of children have encounters with them because children's haven't had their minds corroded and corrupted by society yet. They're pure, innocent minds, just like a lot of women. Yeah, I found out that there's more good women in this world than good men, and maybe that's the reason they're more open towards. Not every woman. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, people like you, Miss Moss, that are good-hearted women with good intentions, and you love life, you love the earth, you love living. You're not a Debbie Downer. You're positive. You're upbeat. These are the kind of people they seek out. They do not want to. They do not want to associate with bad people, a woman or a man. With that being said, um, what I want to tell you about that one thing about the two women, the two Sheilas, and this is what I truly think they were showing off to these two girls. But they were back at my gifting stuff, and we were all up at the fire pit. And we were having, and we were having a,
Sorry about that, y'all. I don't know what happened. We just got cut out for whatever reason just then. But continue, Greg.
hang on, Ms. Moss, 1 second.
Okay. Y'all, while Greg taking a break there for a second, I wanted to just tell y'all real quick.
Okay.
Well, I want to tell y'all real quick while Greg had it on hold. I just want to let y'all know that basically, you know how it is. Some of y'all who've been in some of these shows before, I don't know why that's glitched out. The Wi-Fi is paid up and everything. For whatever reason, when you got a guest coming on telling certain stuff, certain information, these things start glitching out. So I have a strong Wi-Fi signal. So y'all just keep listening in. Greg's got a lot of information to share. So if y'all at points in time, like while y'all asking questions, I may not be able to get to them right then. I may have to scroll back up pretty far to get the questions in. So if y'all would, if you could write your questions down kind of to the side on certain stuff that he discusses, because there's a lot of stuff that he's going to discuss tonight. I'm going to even ask him about Goatman as well if we get around to it, and if not, then I may end up having him back on a whole nother episode just to discuss that in and of itself because he's got so much information. Greg, how long have you been doing your research? I forgot to ask you that earlier.
Well, it's since November of 02. So actually, it's a little longer than 20 years now, going on 20 years.
Okay, going on 20 years. Now, Greg, when you said like the balls of energy, somebody had asked the question in the comments earlier, is there a correlation between Bigfoot and Dogman and UFO activity, like lights in the sky when they have been spotted?
Yeah, I firmly believe there's a coalition between the forest people, meaning Bigfoot and Dogman and UFOs. When I say UFOs, I'm not talking about little green men or nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about other things that we can't identify. But like I told you at the beginning of the show, me, my friend, and my son, we witnessed 12 forest people with all their eyes lit up, amber yellow, all around my Jeep up on a mountain where I renamed UFO Mountain. and they did not run from us or anything. We was walking down a hill towards them. The closer we got, and they were just all looking at us, and it was hard to count them. There were so many. You could see their amber yellow lights, man, tall ones, little ones, all over the place. And then a big bright light, looked like a train locomotive light, come over a 500-foot ravine through the trees and everything, and it just stopped. And all the forest people took off running to it, and the light just went away, man. It faded. So to this day, I cannot tell you what happened up there that night. We go up there a lot. We have seen that light before. 3 other groups of people have seen it. Not the forest people, but we've seen that light, but it wasn't as bright. And is there something going on up there? I don't know. But like I told everybody, why did the forest people run to that light if they didn't have some kind of connection to it? So we come to the conclusion, that light, it could either be 2 things. It could have been God himself and that pure bright light. I mean, we don't know. It could have been God that we seen that night. Or it could have been a craft, some kind of craft coming to rendezvous with them. They were all up there waiting for something. This happened to be, we were up there at the same time. So again, another mystery to the puzzle. I wish I could tell you, that there's a solid connection between all that. But from what I've seen, I would definitely say there is. But again, just like anything else, it's what you experience and what you see.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always better to have stuff like this happen when you have more witnesses with you.
Absolutely.
That way, just like that one guy, you're going to have the trolls out there. You're going to have the haters. People to say, I'm lying. I'm pulling the wool over their eyes.
I can't stand that.
Yeah, but they're out there, but it doesn't matter. A good friend of mine told me when I first got into this, he goes, you got to have tough skin for this, Greg. He goes, you would get a lot of hate. And I didn't really know what he meant then, but I know now.
A lot of people attacking you, attacking your credibility. It's a lot of stuff, a lot of competition and ego in it, and it's crazy. And it's just one of those things that you don't even have to really do anything to get those type of attacks, and it's ridiculous. But my thing, like what you're talking about right now, as far as people in the group and crypto community and stuff like that, differences of beliefs, attacking is not necessary. To me, I feel like you can come to a difference of opinion and say, okay, that's your belief, and I respect it, because that's your experience. It may not be my experience, but I still respect it. I would never tear you down over your experience, because that just didn't happen to me. Some people have had negative Bigfoot or dogman experiences. Some people have been attacked. So in the cases where they have either Bigfoot or dogman have attacked people, what do you think was the reason for that? Do you feel like what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I'd say the number one reason is, even though the people probably won't admit it, but they probably took a shot at one, or tried to catch one, tried to basically try to shoot it. If you try that, that ain't gonna work. But my thing with that, people to say they're attack bomb and everything. I just, I'm not saying these people are being truthful or not truthful, but how could you be attacked by one of these beings and get away with it? With the missing 411 book, David Pilates was with all the thousands and thousands of people missing in national forests and state forests every year, every summer. I mean, every summer, we're in summer now almost, people will start coming up missing. I mean, you gonna say Bigfoot and Dogman got them all? Oh heck no! I mean,
No.
you can't say they got anybody until you got actual proof. But as far as somebody saying they got attacked by one, my guess would be you'd probably be in David Pilati's book if you got attacked by something 10 feet tall that weighed 1,200 pounds. How are you going to get away from that? How are you going to outfight that? So apparently, if they got attacked, they didn't get attacked too bad. So it's more like they're getting scared. The force people don't want them there. They're going to make sure that they get scared so bad they're not going to come back in there. And a lot of people will say that's true after they had a bad encounter. They will not step a foot into the forest. Again, these are all my beliefs and what I believe to be firsthand knowledge from my experience. How come I've never been attacked? All the people that have come with me, I mean, I'm talking hundreds of people through the years. None of them people have ever been attacked. How come we were never attacked at our campsite? I've been up there by myself camping. They could come up and split my tent open and reach in there and grab me, and I would never be seen again. How come stuff like that doesn't happen to me?
Yeah,
A man who is out there all the time, a
because you go
man who
out there
probably knows them
unarmed.
better than a lot of people or ever think about knowing. To some person who doesn't even believe in them, and then goes on a podcast and I was attacked by Bigfoot. Yeah, like I said, Brittany, it's just it's a lot to wrap a finger around it. I mean, I ain't saying they don't attack people, but the question was the number one reason if they would be attacked, and that's probably it: shooting at them, trying to hurt them, trying to hurt their family. If you do that, if you do get away, you better say a prayer that night. That's all I can say about that.
Greg, you told me before how tall you were, and I thought it was funny when we talked last year when I interviewed you, and you said that you were telling me how tall you were, and it was funny because you said, "Well, they probably think I'm one of them." How tall did you say you are?
Yeah, I'm 6'5" and a half, almost 6'6".
Y'all hear that?
I weigh about 225.
Y'all hear
Yeah,
that? Greg,
I'm a big man.
Greg might be a Nephilim, y'all. I'm just joking.
And then I grew this beard. Yeah, and I grew this long hair. Yeah, and I figured, the
Uh-huh.
best way I could, relate with them is look like them. I mean, I'm taller than some of them I've seen. I've
Yeah.
seen some dead
Really?
even with me, and I've seen some taller. But yeah, I think my beard attracted them right off the bat. They're like, man, who's this guy? Yeah, that's why I got Curious George's picture. Yeah, I think he was just so intrigued over me,
Now,
by the way I looked, and I do tell a lot of people maybe he thought I was one of them. I mean, hey, after all, I'm the Squatchman.
real quick, Greg, do you know anything about the siege of Hanobia? They put Nabi, but I think they're talking about the siege at Hanobia.
The
I'm gonna
who?
the siege at Hanobia. I don't know if that's Dogman or Bigfoot. I'm gonna have to look that up. I know what you're talking about, Corky's research. I'm gonna have to look into that. I think I know. I think you're talking about the siege at Hanobia. I'm gonna have to look that up. And I think I can't remember if that was Bigfoot or Dogman related. You can leave a comment below and let us know. Now, Greg, real quick, I have another question for you of my own. When I talked to you and interviewed you last year, one of the things that you had mentioned was that I asked you if you thought that they were a spiritual creature, and you told me you actually went into it and told me about that you did think that they were spiritual and that they had a language, and it spoke to you. Do you remember what you told me back then, like that it said to you? It said something Yahweh or something like that. Can you tell them about
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah. Again, this is something I got on tape. I used my audio recorder one time, and I'm glad you brought that up, Miss Moss. This will explain to the listeners why I don't like equipment. Okay, I put an audio out there one day by the gifting stump. Where else? I set it by a tree and I covered it up with leaves. So I set it out there about 8 o'clock in the morning, and I let it out there all night, all day, and then I went back about 7 Sunday morning and got it. And so it was almost 24 hours of straight run audio. So at high noon that Saturday, which it was only out there, 4 or 5 hours, this is where this came on at. Okay, you could hear big, heavy steps walk up. And let me reconfirm that me and 3 people were camping, and there was nobody back there. I can testify to this. So if anybody goes, there's probably somebody back. No, there wasn't nobody back there. This is deep woods that are behind the camp. There's no way you can come up or anything. So you know if somebody's back there. So we heard steps walk up to it, picked the recorder up, and it tapped on the back of the recorder 5 times, and then it went.
That's creepy.
And then another one walked up, and it said, Yahweh? What is it? And then he walked off, sounded very, very mad, stomping off. He took about 3 steps, and you heard a whoosh, where he picked up a tree branch out of a tree, ripped it out of there, and went whack. And it was a really loud tree knock, and we all heard it up there. And I said, well, hey, I got my recorder back there. Hey. I said, hey, I bet you I got a tree knock. You know, I was all excited. I got a tree knock. And first time I used this thing. So I get home, and I start listening to it, and there's a lot of stuff on there, but nothing like this.
That's creepy
and
to me.
I took this to clergy. I took this to religious people. And basically, they all said the same thing. It was either, again, a God reference. It was God himself that was back there, and the other one called him out. He said, Yahweh, what is it? Yeah, the more you play it, you can hear it. It sounded a real strange voice, not even human. And this has been clarified by a language expert that I know from the military, that this is non-human existence. This is vocals from an unknown being, both of them, the Squatch talk and the Yahweh.
Do you still have that audio?
He either came up and he said Yahweh, called him God, or like humans do. Oh my God, what's that? But whatever the case, that's why I knew they were very religious people, just like we are. They're godly people, and they believe in God. They say his name, and they live like God. They're very, like you said, spiritual.
Yeah.
You know, was Jesus, was he a human? The last time I looked, he was. Did the Romans crucify him on the cross? Last I read in the Bible, they did. And did he not? Rose again and moved a big boulder out of a cave to get out, to rise again to the heavens. So a human did all this. If you believe in God, you have no problem believing this. I have never doubted that story. I know a lot of people that don't believe in God. A shame that happens.
Yeah.
All I can do is pray for you, my friends. God is real, and these people believe in God, and they're very close to God. And that's another connection we have. We're both very godly people, and I know it from them, and they know it from me. So every little bit helps in this Moss.
But Greg, real quick, just going on rolled the stone back, but he was supposed to be a spirit at that point because he came back. Another thing that he mentioned also, and I can't remember which one of the disciples, if it was Thomas or one of them, but he said he told that disciple to reach out and touch his hand, see that I am flesh and bone. So even though he came back as, I guess, a
Good
supernatural
point.
being or spirit, he came back flesh and bone. You could still touch him. So
Yes.
that's kind of interesting, and that's another aspect that I try to bring forth. And like I said, for the people who are listening right now that want to discredit it, you don't have to be Christian. You don't have to believe it. You can throw it out the window if it means nothing to you. But like I say, I still feel like at the end of the day, Christian or not, there's nothing new under the sun. These things have been here for thousands of years. They've been here as long as us, if not longer than us. And they are flesh and blood and spiritual too. They do too many things that don't animals don't do. You've never seen a dog or a cat or a regular animal just completely disappear out of thin air. You've never seen a regular dog and I'm not talking about camouflaging. Greg's not talking about camouflaging. We're talking about something that's going in and out of your existence, out of your realm of vision, your view. Sometimes you can capture them on camera, but not see them with the naked eye, or vice versa. Sometimes you can see them with the naked eye and not see them on camera. They are the reason for this is the reason for why when a lot of times pictures are taken, they show up blurry like that because these beings have the ability to create that blurriness or that distortion. It's because they don't want you to take pictures of them. Same things that happen with paranormal activity. Ghost hunters go out, they charge their battery for hours. They've even got a backup battery, get ready to start recording, and the battery has completely died. Or they record and nothing showed up on camera. It's because they don't want you to show, they don't want it showing up. So that right there alone, that's a correlation right there between the paranormal aspect of these creatures, to me, in my opinion. Do you agree with that, Greg, or what are your thoughts on
Oh
that?
yeah, I agree 100%. I couldn't have said it better. I just like to add a thing to
Okay.
it. Yeah, just like I was talking about the infrared and stuff, that they don't want their picture taken. And if they was just a flesh and blood animal, nothing more, nothing less, then you'd have a picture no different than taking a picture of a gorilla at the zoo, taking a picture of a monkey at the zoo, a giraffe. You're going to have a good solid picture of a flesh and blood animal. That's what a lot of people don't realize. A camera is a man-made device. It is
Absolutely.
made to capture things human eyes see, to capture, people, your family, your kids, your pets, your vacations, the ocean, places you've been to, places that are all known to man, everything that this camera is capable of picking up. It wasn't designed and engineered to pick up a high, powerful, energetic being that we hardly know anything about, um, other than that they're out there. Some of us that they're out there, that they're real. So when you do, in fact, get a picture of one, all that energy that they have, even if it's flesh and blood, because
Mm-hmm.
some people call it cloaking, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, they just got all that energy, and just like when they walk by you and they're invisible, but you can feel that energy. I mean, I feel them. Like I said, the hair, that's the best sign. When your hair on your neck and your arms stand up, you just feel energized. Trust me, the force people are right there with you. And just like a picture, it wasn't designed to take a picture of something with that much energy. So what you get is a picture of something that looks like a blob squatch. It's not good enough to say, yeah, that's one, but it's not bad enough to say, well, that's a tree stump or this or that. Yeah, it's kind of, somewhere in the middle. That the person took the picture, he knows what he's seen. Yeah, but chances are probably ain't going to come out the way his eyes seen it. You can't fake the eyes. The eyes are going to see what they see,
Absolutely.
but the camera will not do that. I hope
Mm-hmm.
people can understand this, but that they just wasn't made to take pictures of these. And then people will say, well, what about Bob Gimlin? Well, again, it might have something to do with that You know, that 8mm projector style camera they had. Maybe that's the secret of getting a cleared one, because that's probably the clearest one people are ever going to see. Because I don't think them things are used anymore. You
Do
know,
you?
the
You
old
think?
reel to reel 8mm.
Yeah. So you do believe, and I'm just asking because I'm not against you on this, but you do believe that the Patterson Gimlin film was real. Some people say it's a hoax. What?
Oh yeah, beyond a doubt. Just due to the facts, where I don't think nobody could fake something like that back then. Yeah, and that's yeah. I'm an older guy. Yeah, I've been around this earth for a while, and back when that happened, he got a lot of publicity over that, and about the same time the Planet of the Monkeys were coming out. I mean, and everybody's seen that movie. I mean, them things look fake as hell. That was probably the best Hollywood had back there. Making a man try to look like a monkey man or something.
Absolutely.
But the size of Patty and the muscles, the breasts, all the enhancements people have done, especially MK Davis. The stabilization of her walking. No, there ain't no way in hell that could be fake.
Now, what do you think? I don't have. Are you familiar with Bob Garrett?
Bob who?
Bob Garrett. I think he was a Bigfoot researcher out of Texas. I'm not sure if you. I don't know if
Ah,
you
it doesn't sound familiar.
I'll bring that up to you later then and bring you up to speed on that. Now, I do have another question. Like I want to bring up real quick. I know before when you were talking about them going invisible, you told me like how they've come into your house in that invisible form. Can they come into anybody's house at any time, or do you have to some type of way invite them in or give them permission to come to your home?
Oh well, again, I would have to say that they can come into anybody's house anytime they want. That they can go anywhere in this world. They can be anywhere in this world. Um, I mean, as crazy as it sounds, just like that one dude that was bad mouthing the show. A lot of people don't understand or realize stuff they can do. And I had a lady here from Oklahoma, and the force people that were in her force, when she left to come here to Indiana from Oklahoma,
Mm-hmm.
they were out in the force too. So how'd they get up there? Did they run up there? Or did they hitchhike up the interstate? Just like he's talking about the energy, Miss Moss.
Yes.
They can transform wherever they want to go, whenever they want to go. They can be, where do you live, Louisiana? They
Yes.
could be there right now, and they could teleport up here to Indiana like that. They'd be out of your backyard in a split second. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people will go, oh, BS, BS. Well, again, I'm
Absolutely.
not trying to prove nothing to nobody. This is just what I know from highly intelligent people that have opened their minds and opened their eyes, and have got a new perspective on this age-old mystery that has been going around in circles for decades,
Mm-hmm.
with no more answers than we was 50 years ago. Same stuff. Same bipedal, undiscovered, whatever they call it.
Undiscovered.
See
What
my
do they call it?
point?
Undiscovered ape. Yeah, undiscovered North
Yeah,
American ape.
people don't want to know the real truth. That's all I can say, Miss Moss.
I agree with
Yeah,
you
what I'm
100%.
speaking, I believe it to be 100% the truth. Yeah, and people can believe what they want to believe. I'm not here to make anybody believe anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just telling you what me and my people have experienced and what I know. And I know a lot because I've seen a lot. And
Okay.
and I'm
Now,
not on here. I've never been out to be one of the rich and famous guys.
mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of them guys deplore me. I've promised to force people I would never make a dime on them. I just wanted a relationship with them. It ain't about money or nothing to me. I just want to know the truth. And so far, I cannot complain because I'm getting more of the truth than sometimes I can handle. But it's out there, and the puzzle I'm building is getting fuller and fuller by the year. My pieces are coming together. You always
Yeah.
hear about people another piece to the puzzle. Well,
Yes.
my 500-piece puzzle, I'm about 100 pieces short of a complete puzzle now, Miss Moss.
I love it. I mean, I really like the way you articulated, and I love talking to you. The first time I ever talked to you, I was like, "Wow, this guy is a real deal." I mean, because you interact with him, you go out there. Greg, y'all, Greg Yost goes out there with no weapons or anything like that. He just goes out there straight into the woods, like just he goes and feeds them, takes some donuts, and I'm not gonna do anything like that because I'm terrified of the dark. Period. I'm just terrified of pit bulls even. So I'm not gonna do it. But Greg, I mean, they know his heart. I mean, he can just walk out there amongst them. And Greg, isn't it true that like when you go out there with groups of people that you take out on these campouts, majority of the time they go out and they have an experience when you take them out there?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Almost every one of them. And I'd say out of 150 people, at least half of that number have actually seen one, if not more. I've let people take pictures just right there at the campfire, getting Bigfoots right there by the tree or right around the perimeter of the camp. I've had a guy come all the way from Idaho, Jungle George. He said he picked me because he wants to have a Bigfoot experience, and he said I'm the man to see. Guess what? He seen one that night. He went home to Idaho a happy man, and I changed his whole life. The man is a different, changed man since that night. I've had, yeah, just the list just goes on and on. Um, put it this way: everybody that comes up that is a skeptic or a non-believer, I change their mind. The time they leave, they're believers. I had
Now.
people that have left camp out there because they got too scared. They
Mm-hmm.
heard vocals, they heard loud tree knocks. They took it as they were in grave danger. They heard on podcasts when Bigfoots are back there, they're going to get you. And I said, hey, long as I'm here, nobody's going to get hurt here. So you pull out a gun, start shooting. I go, you might
Yes.
get hurt. I go, but I lay down the rules. I lay down the law. If people don't want to do it my way, don't come.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to sneak behind my back. Because, like you just said, that they know the people, that they're good or bad. They're going to know people are up there that are going to try to pull something, like slide that infrared camera out when I ain't looking or something. But they know that. So hours will go by and nothing will happen. And so I know for a fact somebody tried to breach my rules, which are simple. You don't come out there with guns,
Yeah.
gadgets, or no games. You more or less follow my lead, and good things are going to happen. I said it
Yeah.
took me a lot of
Yeah.
years to get where I'm at, up on the Bigfoot Mountain, and I don't want some idiot coming down there, ruining it for everybody. So just like they can pick good people, they know the bad people too.
Now,
And
Greg, I got a question for you real quick, and I think I might have asked you this before at one point when I interviewed you in the group last year. A lot of people say, well, we've already covered the camera situation, but a lot of people say that when they pick up a gun to point it at them, it's like they already know what guns are. Now, I think one of the things, and you tell me if I'm wrong, you said that they can smell gun smoke for like a mile away. I can't remember if you told me that or if it was somebody else I interviewed. But did you touch on that at all?
Well, what, that they can sense that you're coming?
Well, like as far as guns, like them knowing what guns are, they can smell gun
No,
smoke.
I said that they can smell gunpowder a mile away.
Yeah, you told me about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it's just something an old Native American guy told me, man. Something I firmly believe in. Yeah, out of all people, the Native Americans are more in touch with the forest people than any other race. I hate to tell everybody that, but they're very in tune with the force and nature and everything that I've been preaching about all night. Respect, respect the water, respect the forest, respect the air. It's all about the respect with the Native Americans, and that's why they've had such good contacts with the forest people over the years. That's why they respect them. That's why they give them their space. You know, how many Native Americans have you seen on these Bigfoot teams or going out and blah blah blah? For the majority of them, they don't do it. Why? Out of
Hmm.
respect, because everybody knows the unwritten law. They want to be left alone. They don't want people out there bothering them. Um, that's why I don't go through the woods no more. Yeah, I just walk on the roads and hang around and camp. They know I'm here. If they want to come see me, they know where I'm at. I'm going to give them respect. I'm not going to go all over the forest in their house, acting all stupid, doing what most people do, pissing them off. I'm not into that. So so it's all about respect, and the Native Americans had it, and they're really in tune with these people. And I got a lot of friends that are Native
Hmm.
Americans, and they just love the work I'm doing. And one of them even called me a great woodman. So I mean, it really means a lot that they
Absolutely.
respect what I do because they know I respect the forest people in the forest like they do. So that was a good compliment I got.
All right, real quick, I got last question before we move on to the next topic because I want to go into Goat Man. But one more question: your Dog Man picture that we were talking about before, y'all. We will share this in the group. I've shared it before when I interviewed Greg in the group last year, but I will have him to share it in the group
Yeah, I'll send
again,
it to
not
you as soon as we get off
international,
here.
because it's a great picture. It's like one of the best pictures I've ever seen. And this is a daytime picture. It's black. It's got red eyes. It's up in the tree. It's like the most amazing. You can't dispute this picture. It's amazing. It's crazy. There's no way you can get around it. You can't say it's anything but a dog, man. Its eyes are glowing. Now, when you took that picture, did you see that when you took the picture of it, Greg, or did you just take a picture randomly and then you saw it after the fact and went back and looked at it? And how did you get that picture of it?
Well,
What were you doing?
uh, actually, it's pretty weird how everything went down. Yeah, I was taking a picture of that tree arch, something the forest people make, and he was standing 50 feet, 60 feet back behind there by a tree. And got to be quite frankly, not me or the general, we didn't see him. So yeah, I went home that day. We was out there, had a great day. It was New Year's Day. I went home and I made a post of all the stuff we were finding, and all of a sudden this lady writes on one of the pictures. She's like, "Get the hell out of there! There's a dog man, 12 o'clock high." So I'm like, "What is he talking about?" So I look at the pictures she made a comment on. I had like 20 pictures, on my post, and sure enough, there it was right up there. Like you just said, one of the best pictures ever of, if it is a dog man, it's a dog man. I'd have to say it is. Um, but that's a lesson that people should learn. No matter how many pictures you take out there, go over everyone when you get home, enlarge them. Look around that whole picture. Just like in your back at your grandma's backyard, you get all them dog man pictures. A lot of people, they were out there on your grandma's deck. they'd be looking right out there that they wouldn't see nothing out there. See, but you got
Absolutely.
a knack for seeing them. See, that's another thing. Everybody, a lot of people will say, well, how come I never see one? Well, you got to know what you're looking for. They're not going to stand out there and do jumping jacks for you. I mean, they're out there. You just gotta know when they're out there, like you do, and a couple
Absolutely.
more people. Like Renee Wilson. She's just like you. She has a lot of them pictures around.
She's got some amazing
Just taking
pictures too.
random pictures back there at the wood line, just
She
like you
does.
do. There's a dog, man. There's a dog. Yeah, see what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's I wanted to bring that up on this interview. Don't you think if they were, that close to your granny's house, that
Oh yeah.
she'd be an easy target for him one night to go ripping up through her door and shredding grand. So see, they know she lives there. She's vulnerable. She's probably, doesn't have guns. See what I
Yep.
mean? But yet they're not attacking people that they live right behind their house. That's why I'm a firm believer that they're peaceful people.
Yeah, because the ones I encountered, the dogmen I encountered, they never approached me. They stayed at a safe distance on the other side of the fence and just watched. Now, the first encounter I ever had, that particular dog man on that night, it was out in the broad open. It wasn't behind trees or anything like that, not behind bushes, just standing out straight in the open. I'm looking at it and I'm scared and I'm talking to myself and saying, please, God, don't let the thing walk over here. It was so big. It was about 8.5, 9 feet tall, muscle bound, like Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the day. And it didn't have those amber eyes, it had those glowing blue luminescent eyes. And while I was saying that, please God, don't let that thing walk over here, what I heard in my head was, oh, it's just you. No big deal. Like it's almost like it kept its back to me as long as I had just cause Cadillac I drive, the headlights are garbage. They're really low light. So, but I put the high beams on it. Now, as long as the low beams were on, it just stayed still. I guess it maybe thought that as long as I stay still, she's not going to notice me. But when I put the high beams on it, I spotlighted it. I think at that point, it was like, okay, let me turn around and see who this is. It turned around when it heard me talking and saying what I was saying. With even though I was in my car, what I heard in my head was, "Oh, it's just you. No big deal." And then it casually turned its back and continued to walk on down the path. So, what that meant to me, I didn't think about it at that time until later on. What came to my mind at that moment was that thing knew me. It was like, okay, you're no threat. I'm not worried about you. And it just continued on the walk. It was never on all fours at any point. It was on 2 feet the whole time. But it didn't care that I saw it. It was like, oh, okay, whatever. And it just kept on walking. But at no point in time from 2013 to 2019, when as long as my parents lived in that house, not at any point did they ever approach me that I could see. They did approach me, but in an invisible form, which I caught on audio later on. I wasn't sure at the time. I didn't know, and I didn't hear it in real time. I didn't hear it until I went back and listened to the audio recording, where it sounded like something is invisible, like directly standing right behind my head and sniffing. Like if I were going to lean in to tell you a secret in your ear, it's leaned in that close, and I heard the sniffing and grunting, and it didn't do anything. It just did that and made noises in the background behind me, but I never heard that with my natural ears. But so yeah, they're not all negative. That's all I can say. It could have done anything to me at any point, but it didn't.
Yeah, seeing he was invisible too, right? You didn't see him, did you?
No, I never saw it, and I never heard the sniffing or growling. I never heard any of that on the. I never heard that with my natural ears
That's the
until I
same
went
thing
back
I
and listened.
got. I'm glad you said
Yeah,
that because I got some of the same stuff while I could hear him talking and laughing right behind me and my buddy. I mean, like right here, but that day there wasn't nobody there. We didn't hear that, but
absolutely.
it was on the audio.
Did you ever hear, Greg, like at any time where you were audio recording at any point, did you ever hear, and I always ask people this because it was strange to me, have you ever heard something that sounded like the best way I can describe it is really loud, or a really loud piece of metal, or I'll describe it as a large metallic dumpster, like it would be at a restaurant or apartment complex or something like that, being dragged across concrete.
Oh yeah, like we talked about this last time. But yeah, I've heard that. Not a bunch, but I have heard it a few times. Um,
What do you think that is?
I have no idea. I don't know what kind of metallic object they got. Um,
I'm gonna
but
give you my
yeah, all the countless hours of out in the woods, I've never come across no big pieces of metal or nothing. Or but I do
I
have
got
a
it.
theory about what that is.
I do too. You tell me yours and I'll tell you mine.
Okay, well, I actually think it might be one of the crafts landing, hard landing into the forest. Uh, you never know.
My thoughts on that are what your natural ears didn't hear. I think that since everybody talks about infrasound and them zapping people and stuff like that, I feel like that what that is possibly, this is just one theory, I don't know, but I interviewed Bigfoot Michigan Rob last weekend, and I brought this up to him too. But what my theory is on that is that I feel like that is capturing infrasound on audio. Nobody's ever like really thought about it, but what if that wasn't even, but it sounded like I was sitting under a carport at my parents' house. There's nothing like that going on directly behind me. It sounds like there's a huge metal dumpster dragged across concrete directly behind me, like if I turned around and touched this right now, like it's that close. There was nothing like that going on. There was no road noise, there was no road construction. So that's the only theory I can come up for that, is that that was them making some type of noise. And I feel like that possibly that could have been infrasound caught on video. When I interviewed Bigfoot Michigan Rob last week, he's one of the hosts on Texas Front Porch, and he also has his own show, Brunch with Bigfoot Michigan Rob. He also said that he heard that same sound also during his first Sasquatch encounter. And he said that when it opened its mouth, when he and his girlfriend at the time were together, and it screamed at them, he said that I explained it to him in a way that he had never thought about it before. He said, but yeah, it kind of sounded like metal scraping against concrete. It was really loud. There was no reason I shouldn't have heard that with my natural ears if something like that was really going on, which it was, but it was
Yeah,
just not.
especially out in the
Yeah.
forest.
Oh yeah, no,
Sure.
this wasn't in the forest. This was like in my parents' carport. Like
Oh wow! Oh
yeah, under the
yeah, that's
carport.
weird.
Nothing like that was going on.
Yeah,
But
you're right. It might be had something to do with infrasound.
man,
But when I've heard that noise, it was out in the woods, so it could have been the same thing. I mean, I don't know.
now
Another mystery.
that's very interesting, though. You mentioned that when you heard it, it was out in the woods. The only other time where I heard something that sounded like a loud metallic crash, I live here in North Alabama. Coonbo lives about 45 minutes, maybe about an hour away from me. And he came to the property where my parents used to live at, and he came out there. He found a sentinel tree while he was here. And but while we were back there in those woods, back by the pond, we both got this creepy feeling, and the hair stood up on our arms at the same time. We both kind of looked at each other, and I asked him, "Do you feel that?" And he said, "Yeah, we're being watched." Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it sounds like the largest, and I don't even know how to, I don't know what these things are called, but I know I can picture it in my head, like when construction workers are working and they're building like a big I don't know, a high rise or something. There's this large steel I don't know, rectangle shaped beam that they have like up on a crane or something like that. It sounded like something like that, really huge, crashed from like 100 or like several hundred feet up in the air and came crashing down to the concrete below. We both heard that in real time. Kumbo looked at me, I looked at him, and I said, we both said, "What was that?" And right across the other side of that pond, there's a business over there, but it was a Sunday, so there was nobody over there working. Because in my mind, I tried to rationalize it at the time, and I had told myself that maybe those workers over there dropped something off the truck. You know how your mind tries to rationalize stuff to make you feel better? And Kumbo told me the next day, no, there was nobody working over there. There was nobody in those trucks. That business was closed. So there was nothing going on. So what he explained later, he said that they were trying to make us get out of there. We were back there in their area. They were back there and they were cloaked at that time. I've taken pictures and I haven't gone back to study those pictures, but that's the only other time that I heard that metallic noise. But it's crazy. I think I talked to
It is.
Greg Gracie about this too. Bigfoot Truth. He has his own group. He's here in the chat now, Man of Light, and he wanted to know: do you find Bigfoot and Dogman getting along in the woods? Do they get along with one another?
Oh yeah, of course they do. Like I said earlier, they're one of the same. They just look a little different. But if you look at that Dogman picture that I'm going to send you, I mean, he's basically got a body just like what people call a Sasquatch. He's big, he's hairy, but his head looks like a dog. It doesn't look like a human.
Mm-hmm.
Are they friends? I believe they are. If not, just the same kind of people, just they look different.
Mm-hmm.
I like pointing out about humans. I mean, look at all the humans. The 8 billion humans on this earth. So some are white, some are yellow, some are red, some are black, some are blue.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't know. We all look different.
Absolutely.
Just because they don't look like a Sasquatch,
I agree.
I just think they got a bad name. Somebody said they dog man. If anything, I would like to call them dog people, because if there's a dog man, there's got to be a dog woman and dog
Mm-hmm.
children. They don't live forever. They're going to
Absolutely.
die eventually, and then what? They're just like they're one and one with the Sasquatch. They're forest people. They live in
Yeah.
the forest. They don't want to be seen. They want to be left alone. But just from what I know, again, don't take this to the bank with what I'm telling everybody, because I can't prove none of this. It's just my beliefs, but they're good beliefs. But you hear about Dogman being vicious and mean.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, well, maybe he could be. Maybe you're out there deer hunting and you see one and you're like, oh, hell, I'm going to shoot that. I'm going to become rich and famous. I'm going to be
Absolutely.
the first one ever shooting a Bigfoot or a Dogman. And you shoot him. And before you know it, you're in David Pilati's book, or they find
Mm-hmm.
you out in the woods dead. Or
Absolutely.
you think about it. It's just ain't talking off the top of my head, Ms. Moss. David Pilates wrote a whole book
He did.
on missing 411, the hunted. Nothing but hunters who go out in the woods, heavily armed, rifles, pistols, knives.
Mm-hmm.
You know how hunters are. They're going to gear up. They're going to have a lot of weapons on them, a lot of ammo. But
Absolutely.
yet, in his book, he has a whole bunch of them who never made it back from their hunting expedition.
Uh-huh.
Their Saturday morning hunting trip. They never
Mm-hmm.
came back. What happened to
Mm-hmm.
them? What happened to all these hunters? Same thing that happened to other people that are mean to the forest people. They don't come back. Trust me, if you're mean and disrespectful to these people, they don't give a one way or another about you, and they're gonna end your life. You're expired. They
Absolutely.
could probably put you in a hole and dig you up and plant a tree on top of it, where the best bloodhounds in Tennessee would not locate you. So that's just one thought. hunters better consider the next time they take a shot at one. You will not survive, and you certainly won't be able to kill that. I know that for a fact. So,
I agree.
so,
Real
so,
quick,
yeah, so yeah, just like you don't got to be a hunter. Other people that do bad things. I mean, you heard of people that got rocks thrown at them. They don't like you, man. They want you out of there. I mean, if you're out in the woods and somebody starts throwing rocks at you, you know you're the only one out there. Well, what are you probably going to do? You're probably going to get the hell out of there, right? So
absolutely.
that's another thing they do. They don't want to hurt you. They just don't like you. They don't want to interact with you. They throw rocks at you. And it's not in a hurtful way. I mean, they could throw a rock and take your head off if they wanted to. But they're
Oh,
just
I
letting you
agree.
know, hey, we're watching you and we don't want you in here. Get out. And if that don't work, they might go to other extremes. Some howls, some growls.
Bluff charges.
They know how to scare humans. Trust me.
Real quick, Primacy had said earlier, stop relying on your eyes to see them, feel them first. Well, Primacy, when it comes to certain people, this is just my belief on it, from 2013 when I saw the first Dog Man all the way up to 2019, I didn't have to, it wasn't anything that I had to rely on. I think that they specifically choose who to show themselves to. Sometimes people might accidentally happen up on them, but I do feel like for the ones of us who've had multiple sightings and encounters of them on our property, I feel like they do choose to show them who to show themselves to. Because if they see you recording or if they see you out there, you're watching them while they're watching you. I've never had a problem seeing them, even on pictures that people share with me within the group. I can look at their pictures and see stuff a lot of the times that they haven't even seen in the pictures. I think that you have to have some type of open mindedness or a spiritual eye for some of these things because I might be looking at a picture and somebody else is sitting right next to me and looking at the same picture, or it's wide out, right in the open, no reason why you shouldn't be able to see it, and they still can't see it. So it's not one of those things where you have to feel them first. I think it has to do with whether you have a spiritual gift or a spiritual opening or whatever that reason is. I feel like that some people happen to see them by accident and they never have an experience again, but I feel like some of them, for whatever reason, connect with us for whatever reason and continue to show themselves for a long time, and especially if they're on your property. That's just my feeling. What do you feel about that, Greg?
I agree. Well said.
Okay, Greg, real quick because I want to move over. We're at 1 hour 47 minutes. Real quick, y'all, we're gonna move over real quick because Greg has also been researching for several years. Also, he has a lot of information on Goat Man. Greg, can you tell us about Goatman? What do you think that is? Is that a cryptid, or what are your thoughts on that? And why are there not many sightings of those creatures? What can you tell us about Goatman?
Well, again, like I said on my last interview with you, man, on my YouTube channel, we did a 5-part series on the goat, man. After 8 llamas, guard llamas, got massacred here over there in Louisville, in suburban, right by the Louisville Zoo, right in the middle of the city of Louisville. We're not out in the forest or nothing. We're in a high dollar neighborhood. $200,000-$300,000 houses, and 8 llamas got massacred one night. A week later, 2 donkeys got massacred. And we're talking animals that fight off wolves, coyotes, dogs, whatever. Lock guard llamas protect herds. Farmers get one to protect a whole herd of sheep, goats, chickens, whatever. But yet this night, he had 15 of them, and 8 of them got brutally massacred. And we went right to his farm the next day, and we did an extensive investigation. The guy he let us go all over the whole farm, inside, outside. We didn't find any, and the media said the dogs, 3 neighborhood dogs did all this. And I explained to the guy, ain't no way 3 dogs did this. We didn't find no prints. We didn't find nothing but Goat Man's footprint. And I'll run back here. I'll go back here and get it and show everybody. But we found Goat Man's footprint there, the same print we found where he lives, out at the trestles. You heard of the Poke Lick Monster, right, Ms. Moss?
Yes.
Well, that's the Goat Man, the Poke Lick Monster. We found the same prints out there. We found a big pile of bones. We found where the Goat Man lives. This is not a legend. This is not a myth. This is not a folklore. This is real. And your question is, what is it? No, it's not a cryptid. It's nothing like the Forest People. It's nothing like nothing anybody has ever seen. This thing has materialized from the depths of hell. It has been around here since the beginning of time. And the devil has sent 4 of them here. That's why you don't hear much about them. There's only 4 goat men in this whole world. And I know one's right here in Louisville, Kentucky, and one's in Maryland. That's the only 2 I know of. And they never leave the areas that they're at. I got a friend in Maryland. He's got pictures that we talk about. It wasn't his pictures, but I mean, just like the interview with the champ. You remember the champ? Yeah, he went face to face with the Goat Man.
Yes.
Had horns on his head, just like a ram. Only 6 feet tall, wasn't very muscular. Yeah. So what this thing is, man, he's spawned by the devil to come to do the devil's work. And that's to kill God's most precious creations, us and animals. That's God's most precious creations. And what better way of getting at God and killing his beautiful creations? Just like the champ said, he was preying on homeless people. Every so often, he'll go hunting. Llamas wound up dead. Donkeys. Same thing with donkeys. They would kill dogs like that. That's what donkeys do. We went to that little ranch there in the same neighborhood about 5 miles away. The guy wouldn't even talk to us. He said his donkeys got so brutally massacred, he wouldn't even let the news see it. But the other guy at the llama farm, he let us see pictures that we got on our YouTube show that had big slits cut in their necks. They wasn't all gnawed up by some canine or nothing. They had big gashes in their necks. Well, Eugene, my son, did research on that the Goat Man carries a 2-sided battle axe, very sharp and very rusted.
Oh,
but that's just a tool of killing. And after we did this investigation, we got our YouTube, I got the show out, 5 parts. A week later, a man got killed right out there by the trestles. The police, till this day, 2 years later, still hasn't a cause of death. And his sister seen my YouTube station. She got a hold of me. She said, "My God, sir," she goes, "that's my brother that died out there." The police tried to tell the family it was a suicide, but we couldn't even look at his body after he died. And she goes, "Thank you so much for fitting this out." She goes, "So many people think the Goat Man is nothing but a myth." She goes, "You basically proved it, that he is real."
Wow.
And so you know, back to the question. No, the Forest People, they don't want nothing to do with this Goat Man. They can't do nothing. Dogman can't do nothing. All they can do is point and let us know. That's how we found that print that day. There's an arrow back there behind that guy's farm made out of sticks, an arrow just like that. So we followed the arrow 5 feet in front of it, Goat Man's footprint. Where was it located? Standing right there on the other side of the creek, looking over into the field. When we started drawing a big crowd in the neighborhood, a lot of neighbors were coming out. I got a Jeep with a lot of Bigfoot stickers and whatnot. They're all over there. Well, you think Bigfoot did this? And I said, no, not at all. I said, Goat Man did this. They're like, Goat Man. So the owner of the farm goes, well, how'd he get here from the Trussels out in J-Town? They go, you see that creek out there? He goes, yeah. He goes, that creek runs all the way out there. He goes, well, these are highways. I go, he can walk down through here all night long. Ain't nobody in the world going to see him. I go, and again, this is not no animal. This is nothing like Bigfoot or nothing like that, sir. This is an evil presence, an evil entity. He's a warrior in the devil's army. Like I said, we did extensive research on this guy. And there's 4 of them that was spawned here by Satan himself. And they're kings in Satan's army. That's what it says on the research. And a lot of different sites said the same thing. And they come from, the word that they used was satire, meaning the next lower under Satan, satire. So they're very strong. Yeah. They're here to do one thing, kill. And we're on to this guy, and I'm not done with him yet. I've been busy with my other stuff. But we will with the COVID and everything the last 2 years. When everything's getting back to normal.
Yes.
And I will be doing more on the Goat Man. Let me go get his track one quick.
Y'all, he's getting ready to show y'all these Goat Man footprints that he got. And I've seen these. He's got them in his group. If y'all are not subscribed to his channel, I will share. I don't know if y'all are in the group. Actually, while he's going off, let me go to his group real quick. His group is called Squatchman Adventures Journey to the Truth. And while he's going off, I'm going to go over real quick to his group, and I'm going to copy the link to his group, and I'm going to share it down here in the live. So any of you who are listening right now that want to join Greg's group, Squatchman Adventures Journey to the Truth, I'm getting ready to send that link and share it down there in the chat. Then after the show is over with, let me paste that. Let me put Greg's group in here.
Okay, you ready for the footprint?
Let me tell him one more thing, Greg, and then yes. Real quick. And so I'm getting ready to share Greg's link down here in this chat. So y'all, if you're not subscribed to Squatchman Adventures Journey to the Truth, I'm getting ready to share the link. Y'all go over there and join it. And he's showing you, this is the Goat Man footprint. How big is this footprint, Greg?
It's 7.5 inches long. You can see 2 big hoofs right here and 2 ones in the back that are about 1.5 inches. And you can see how sharp these things are. And it kind of resembles a goat. It kind of resembles a deer. But this is his whole footprint. From there to there. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good size print. I don't know if you can see it good from there. But it's the only one known of the Goat Man. And he knows, I don't know if you can see that, but look how big and sharp the claws are right there.
So what y'all seeing?
And they're down here too.
Yes.
You got 2 of them on both sides. And that's how long these suckers are.
And that's not the size of a regular goat's hoof print, y'all. So
no, it's way bigger. I already did all the research. Even a deer, a lot of people said deer would do this. A deer don't do this. And deer prints are only 5 1/4. A 225-pound deer is only 5 1/4 from dew claw to the end of the hoof. And this is 7.5 inches. This is the Goat Man's footprint. And I showed it.
Also,
and I showed it to the park manager. He's been out there 35 years. And he said, well, sir, you just made my day. I've been hearing about Goat Man for all my life. This is the first piece of evidence that anybody has ever turned up on him. And I show this a lot around the shows and everything. And yeah, it's one of a kind. And that's the thing about me. I'm drawn to these things, or they're drawn to me. A lot of people call me a Squatch magnet, and then this thing came into my life. I didn't have to do this, but when the media kept saying dogs did it, I knew what did it. Being, doing what I do, you got to have an open mind on this. So I immediately said, hey guys, boot up, man. We're going to go find out what killed them llamas. And I think we did a good job on it.
Absolutely. Now you said that that most accounts of goatman activity, like when people have had sightings of them, it's a, did you say it's like a double-edged battle axe, the blade at each end?
Yes, he has a double-edged battle axe, like from back in ancient times. You see them big axes, they got the big blades on each side of the axe. That way he could kill at either end of it. And that's his weapon of choice. And
Have they
them
killed people,
llamas had
Greg?
slits in their necks,
Okay, yeah.
about the size of a battle axe. So I mean, I'm just putting two and two together.
Now, have they killed any people from what you know?
Yeah, there's a, well, like I just said about that one guy that got killed. They still don't know what killed him. But his sister told me his body was so mangled up they wouldn't even show him. What kind of animal would do that? I mean, this is a city park, on the outskirts of Louisville, but it's in Louisville's city limits. And this thing's been out there forever. When I was in the Boy Scouts, I used to hear reports about this. And during high school, kids would go out there wanting to see Goat Man. There's been a lot of sightings, but the main thing he does, he lures people up on a trestle to walk across, and then a train comes, and you wouldn't believe all the people that have died out there. At least 100 people have died out there.
Oh, wow.
Over the 50, 60 years of reporting it.
And real quick, Greg, can you tell them, you mentioned the champ earlier. Can you just real quick, and this will be the last thing we go into tonight, y'all, because we're at 2 hours, but I want Greg to tell y'all the champ story. Can you tell them the champ's account of his sighting of the dog man? Can you tell them about that? And I will share this account
over in
in the group too. I'm sorry.
He was a heavyweight boxer over in Louisville, Kentucky. A good friend of mine. And I worked at Reynolds Aluminum. I made aluminum full. He worked there, and a lot of people would rib me about Bigfoot and everything, which is natural. I don't expect everybody to believe it. And one day he comes up to me, said, hey, I got something I got to tell you. So I didn't know what he was going to tell me. So he told me a story about Goat Man. He said his son was 13 years old, and they went fishing down there by the trestles a lot. So he said one night they were down there. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and the sun was about 10 feet away from them. And, Goat Man is known to put people in trances, getting them to come to him, to make them easy to get. So the son started walking. So the champ, he's a pretty big guy. He's a heavyweight boxer in Louisville. He can throw down. And you see the son walking up to an object standing there right there by the creek bed. So he walked over there real quick, about 15 feet away. The son was standing there. Right in front of him was some kind of entity that he described as about 6 feet tall, horns that went back like a ram's, and feet that looked like these, goat feet, just like that. He said he looked like a goat, half man, half goat. He said his hands were like hands, human hands, but his feet were goats. And he goes, oh my God, he said, him and his son were just standing there. He said his son looked up at him, he looked down at his son. And he goes, "Oh, this is it." He goes, "This thing's gonna kill us." He goes, "We are gonna die right now." He said he took his son behind him, and he said he got ready to throw down with this creature. Yeah, he's gonna give it his best shot. Heavyweight boxer. And he said the guy looked at him, turned around, and jumped in the creek and swum off. And he said he was 12 inches from him, face to face. And it's a great story. If you ain't listened to it, you need to listen to it.
I'm going to share it in the group. I'm going to share it in the group because it was very interesting. And didn't you say his son was like in a trance-like state?
Yeah, it was like he got hypnotized. And that's the thing Goatman does, getting all these people up on the trestles. He uses the power of the devil. And he can draw you in. He's very manipulative. He's evil. And he's very smart. But he knows I'm after him. He knows the Squatchman and him. We got a date. He left me some deer jaws out in the woods that were like this, like horns.
Absolutely.
And that's right by a pile of bones. And that was during the investigation. So he's very aware of what's going on. He's no idiot.
That's real scary. Well, Greg, thanking you for coming on the show tonight. And I thank all y'all who showed up tonight. We're at 2 hours and 6 minutes. Greg Yost, if you would, I'm going to share I'm going to share the link to Greg's YouTube channel in the group. I've also shared it here in the live chat. I've shared the link to his group and his YouTube channel in the chat. So if you're not subscribed to Squatchman Adventures Journey to the Truth, that's his YouTube channel, and it's also the same name of his group. But I've shared the link to both in the chat tonight. But I'll also go share it in my group. If you're not a member of my group and you're listening tonight, it's Crypto Normal Encounters with B. Moss. I'll try to share that if I don't share it in the link. Now, Marquetta, real quick, can you go to the group and get the link to our group and share it down in the chat real quick? We're going to share those pictures, y'all, that we talked about tonight. Greg has one of the best Dogman pictures I've seen. It's a dog.
Yeah, as soon as we get off, I'll send them to you.
Yes, and go and also subscribe to Greg's group, Squatchman Adventures Journey to the Truth. Y'all do that. We're going to share it. He's a member of the group, too. Any questions that you didn't get answered, y'all got more questions for Greg, then I'll make a post in the group specifically for Greg, and I will tag him in it and let him know like that if y'all have any more questions that didn't get answered. So I just want to thank each and every one of you for showing up tonight. And we will get back to you guys. With that being said, Greg, did you have any last words you want to say before we shut down the live? I think he's frozen up, y'all. He's frozen. So we're going to say good night. Bushwhacking with Rooster, thank you for showing up tonight. Marquetta, as always, thank you. The Terminator, thank you for showing up tonight. Let me see. Thomas, thank you. Sandra Ridgway, I want to thank you for showing up tonight. Let me see. Sandra Ridgway, Jan Gale, thank you for showing up tonight. I'm just giving all y'all shout out. Eric DeVries, Lorna, thank you for showing up tonight. Marquetta, everybody who showed up. Bama Bigfoot, Man of Light, Greg, thank you for showing up. Be More Bigfoot. It's so many people. All y'all showed up. Michelle showed up. It's so many of you guys that showed up tonight. I'm not going to probably be able to call off everybody by name without scrolling back 2 hours. Steve Wolf. It's so many people. I'm just wanting to thank each and every one of you. Sasquatch BC, the True Story, the Pork and Bean Show, thank you for showing up. Eric, also known as Purple Hobbit Abroad, thank you for showing up tonight. Primal C, Corky's Research, thank you for showing up. Each and every one of you. Marvin Allen showed up tonight. I think Tamara was here earlier. Brandon Tolbert, thank you. So anybody whose name I left out, Tony Harris, thank you for showing up tonight. I don't want to leave anybody out because each and every one of you that show up for these shows, it makes a big difference, and I really appreciate each and every one of you that come for every show. With that being said, like I said, if you didn't see the link to the group, Greg's group is Squatchman Adventures Journey to the Truth. That's on Facebook. Squatchman Adventures, Journey to the Truth. And his YouTube channel is also of the same name. So if you're not a subscriber to his channel, go over and subscribe. If you're not a member of his group, go over and be a member. He is going to share the pictures. I'm hoping he's going to share them in both groups, his group and my group. I've seen them before. He shared them earlier with Britton saw one back in the day before he passed. That's the first time I'd ever heard Greg Yost encounter, and I think he maybe even shared it on Dogman Encounters Radio also. So we will be sharing those pictures in the group. Like I always say, everybody who comments on the pictures that you see, be respectful. If you got any questions, Greg will answer all your questions. Be respectful, and let me speak to a more call out a few more people, and then I'm gonna shut this down. Bigfoot Michigan Rob, thank you so much for showing up tonight. And I think I pretty much covered everybody. Kevin Clow, thank you for showing up. And anybody else out there? Anybody got any last questions real quick? I'm getting ready to shut it down. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody who showed up earlier in the show, and I just kind of missed people. But let me go down to the bottom. Oh, Bushwhacking with Rooster Stewart Clark, thank you for showing up. Thank you, Corky's Research. Corky's Research, I don't know if you're a member of the group. If you're not a member of my group, then go. Oh, are you a member of the group, Corky? Let me know real quick. If not, I'll share the. Let me just go and get the link real quick. I'll share the link, and I'll probably also end up sharing it in the description too. I'm just gonna go over there. If you're not, and then Corky, once you if you're not a member of the group and you want to be a member of the group, then I will put this link down there, and then I'll also come over and join your group as well. Corky, you said you already. Okay, you subscribe to the channel, and you said you got your own group too. Let me give you the link. All right, I'm copying the link right now. I'm just going to put it in the chat below. Anybody else, y'all got anything to say? Let me write this in real quick. Crypto Normal. And I will be on another show next week, but I'll make that announcement in the group. So this is the link right now to my group. I'm sharing that here in the link. So whoever is watching right now, if you're not a member, Corky, I'm gonna get with Eric because Eric said he already went over and joined the group. I'm gonna get with Eric. He's one of my moderators. I'm gonna get with him, and I'm gonna come over and subscribe and get in your group as well. Everybody, thank y'all so much. I love y'all to death, and I will have more great content, more guests coming up for y'all. And if y'all have any suggestions or anybody that you want me to try to get on the show to interview next, y'all let me know. And with that being said, thank you all so much for showing up tonight. Y'all have a great night. See y'all later.